Are you looking at stock market as a money making avenue, or are you looking at stock market as a place where you can create wealth? Just like just before 10 years and all, if you see there will be a house which was built by the previous generation people, and it used to get passed over people over generations and generations, and it's ancient tradition, right? So it's a so such real estate things and gold are like generations after generation, it comes on and on. uh, Similarly, you can also do with stock market. It's a new thing, right? So what I'm going to say is really true. You can pass on the wealth you can create in the stock market to the next generation, and you can also live your life like anything king's rice once you are disciplined enough to use stock market for creating wealth, because it beats inflation. It beats inflation, and it generates returns which is not compared by any other in investment avenues. So uh, hi, hello. This is Ganesan, your your author of the book Money Leaks and Millionaire Coach. I help you in creating wealth. So today it's an interesting topic. Again, I used to repeatedly say that are you a trader or investor? I thought let me share this, whether this as a separate video session for if you are a trader or investor, or who you are. That's why the screen is saying who you are. Are you a trader or you're investor? It creates a huge difference in the way you operate in stock market. So before we get on to the topic, how many of you had seen the quote scene in any movies, or if you would have seen in person in a quote? Uh, there will be a Bible or Quran or Bhagavad Gita, which on top of which the people who are standing uh, in the witness section, they will be saying on having a hand on that, they will say what I'm saying is true, and apart from that, nothing is there, right? So all across the world, there is one book which is called the Bible of Value Investing. So this has been said by Warren Buffett, and this book has been written in 1934. 1934, it has been published just after 5 years of huge Great Depression, which happened in stock market in US. It's still people still remember how much panic it has created, how much wealth loss it has created for the people who lived in that period. So after 5 years, Benjamin Graham and David L. Dodd. So these are the two authors who published a simple paper stating what has happened. And by 1940, out of it has gone so many versions. I mean, so many people had said praise the book, and they wanted a full-fledged book. In 1940, he has written they had written a second version of the book, and only 10 book has been published, and Warren Buffett has one of the penned book by these guys. So he considers Benjamin Graham as his mentor, guru, and whomsoever you can say at higher stature. So he says value investing is the best thing to do, and from that age, he still prefers doing value investing. And do you know that by now in 2019, he's sitting on a cash pile of we are talking about few hundreds and crores of people, but do you know how much he's having? 122 billion dollars. $122 billion, which is equivalent to $1 billion, equal to roughly 6,000 to 7,000 crores of money. Just multiply and see how much he's having. He is more than so many countries doesn't have that much cash surplus in their kitty, the budget I'm saying. So he's having lots and lots of money. He's looking to buy some cheap company, some companies at cheap valuation, which is called intrinsic valuation. So this he had done over the period of last 4 to 5 decades, not even 5 decades, more than that. And he's 89 now. He started investing from the age of 11, understanding how the stock market works, and he has read this book again and again. So I'm just going to show how this security analysis book is. So this is the book, and forward has been written by Warren Buffett. This has gone several versions, but the truth, which has been written in 1940, stays even now. That is the most important thing, and still people regard this as the Bible of value investing, and people refer this book before they invest in stock market and if they want to do analysis. So why am I saying this? Because if you want to be an investor, it's easy to create wealth. That is the thing. All it says is follow the fundamentals, follow the basic things. If you are finding the company with a biggest economic moat, which means that it has a great advantage in the industry. It has a great advantage in the country. There is either a monopoly or duopoly, and it's difficult to beat the market share. That is where that is where you should invest your money. It's like owning up your business. I repeatedly say in all my webinars, all my Facebook lives, right? So you should own the company. For example, Maruti, it is having more than 50% share in India, and out of 3 or 4 cars, you can see at least one Maruti car, and it targets a middle class segment, where the people are middle or upper middle class segment, and it has got cars right from the lower bottom to upper, like uh, levels. So people SUVs, they had got into SUVs as well. So people prefer buying those kind of things, and that is where the huge population of India are growing, like from lower middle class, they are just moving. So, and they capture the hearts. They are there from 80s, and you can see how much value it has created for people across India. And if you had invested in that stock, it would have created if you had invested sorry for that if you had invested in that stock, you would have created wealth for yourself, right? So this is one instance or one stock which says that value investing works, right? So if you want to be an investor, this is the reason. Warren Buffett, the number one reason. And the stocks you look around, Maruti is one thing, and Hindustan Unilever. That is one thing. And ITC, Indian Tobacco Company Limited, it was formed in 1906 or 1910, and it's almost a 100 years old company. If you had invested in from 70s or 80s, you would have created wealth like anything. And Hindustan Unilever, it's not homegrown brand, but they had bought companies from India, and Hammam is the best example of the soaps, and it is available across India. And one more best company, Godrej Consumer Care Products. It is also very one of the very old companies in consumer segment. And who can forget the Synthol and Godrej soaps across India? And if a mosquito is biting you, what you will do? You will put good night, right? So it has they are it has been manufactured by Godrej. And one more thing, hit. If you find if you find the mosquitoes or other flies, insects in the home, hit. That is what you see. So all these are ads which you never know whether it has been manufactured by the company with what I am saying, right? So hereafter, just look at the company brand name. Like, instead of if it is hit, which is the parent company, if it is a good night, what is a parent company, then you will know, is that company listed in stock market, and then you can explore, should I invest in that company? These are companies which you should start focusing and look at the fundamentals and see whether it has a long-term prospect and what are the things that company management is doing, and then you can start investing, right? So these are some examples which I'm saying you should be an investor. Let me see why you should not be a trader, or it's not the cup of tea for everybody, right? So if you are a trader, you can do margin trading, getting the money from the broker and then do some trading, or you can do intraday trading. You can buy at the morning from 9 to 9:15 and then keep or throughout the day, and you need to sell it off by 3 o'clock. This is one option. And other derivatives like futures and option, which is much riskier, and you should be very much clear like how it works, and what are the you should be on to the system from the morning till you're selling your products, till you're selling your stocks, to say precisely. And other one of the other thing where people lose money, and still they regret for not getting into the stock market, is commodity trading. It is Commodity trading is something like you should be knowing what are the prices which affects which affects, what are the news which affects the stock prices. For example, if the product is being imported, and it will have a serious impact on the prices in India. If the product is affected by monsoon, that will have a serious consequences on the prices and the way the stock is being traded. So commodity trading is something which is not your cup of tea, because you should know everything in detail, and it takes lots of time. You should be sitting on the system, and it happens from the morning till evening. I think it's till evening by 5:30. So these are the types of trading which happens, and most importantly, you need to sit on the system, glued to the system, and that's when you can make money. Because many of my friends who came into the stock market, they did stock intraday trading or margin trading or commodity futures and options. Either they lose money, or they say that it's not for me, and it's not for people. It's for people do gambling or something like that, and they never come back. So and there are certain people whom I know, they do intraday trading, they follow the charts, and they technically they work on which stock to trade today and which will make profit. And again, it's a probability, it's 50-50. So they do take measures so that they're not losing on the, they're not on the losing side, but they make little amount of money. They trade day in and day out. Their day gets over by 3:30, and then they do something else after that. So if you are want to have a two passive investment, do this. If you need to sit in the system, you need to monitor from morning till evening 3:30 till you sell your stocks, and then analyze like what has happened. And you should be learning a lot on how this trading works, how that charts works, and you need to be following the local trends and how the charts are performed in the US. I mean, is the stock moved in US, or is the stock is moving upward or downward in Singapore Nifty? So that will affect Indian money, Indian stock market. So this is how the trading works. So these are the basic differences. So I put down a very basic thing like a um, basic difference between trader and investor. So let's see, a trader needs to do something on a daily basis. So I think you can see this, trader daily basis, he needs to be there. You need to watch the stock market, and if you're an investor and if you're clear like how the stock market works, so you don't need to worry. It's a long-term process. It's more than 3 to 5 years, it's more than 10 years, because you know this company is there for the last few decades, and you can know that this company has a prospect for the next few decades, and the corporate governance is good, so you can hold on to the stock for the long term. And second point is need to look into that daily news. Yes, because if you are a trader, you need to check what has happened in the US, what has happened in the Singapore, or what has happened in the Japan. Any news which has a serious impact on global economy, it will have an impact on Indian stock market as well, because everything is globalized. And one news, just for example, is the last 2-3 months, more than 3-4 months, it's like US and China were in trade war, and because of one tweet by Trump, everything across the world, all the stock markets across the world reacts to it. And one news by Chinese president, it will have a serious effect on other global stock markets, right? So this is what will happen. Any monsoon related news which will have, may affect the stock market in India. So this is how it is. So you need to be clear, like before doing a trading on a daily basis, you should be clear what is the latest news which will affect the stock market, and you should do that. And sometimes there will be a serious IT related income tax rates or something on the company, and then it will have an effect on that day. So you should be clear. And if you're an investor, analyzing the fundamental is more than enough. If the stock is good, if the management is good, and what is the prospect of the company in the next few years, and what are the measures they are, what are the plans they have. One example which I got just now is Britannia. So for the last 5-6 years, they have been launching products regularly means every quarter they have a product launch, they are planned it. And they are planned such a way that they are launching in a premium segment, so that the profit margin is higher. And they're not only doing the biscuits alone, they are getting into the whole lots of things across the premium segment, either in biscuits or cakes varieties. So many things they are doing, and it's all premium products, and which has a high margin compared to the biscuits which they are still doing. So this is one stock which you can look at. These are the things which you can look at while analyzing the reports of the company, while doing a quarterly, while analyzing quarterly results or yearly results. Compare the last 5 years, what they are doing, and what is the projection for the next few years, what are the plans they have. Once you are done this, it's easy to be an investor. So this is again, we had seen any news which affects global or local news, it affects your stock. So be clear, like what are the news which will affect. If you are getting into the metals, like Tata Steel or anything like with steel, aluminum, or commodities, it will have a serious effect, because globally China has cut the production or something, means it will have a serious effect on the Indian stocks. And vice versa. So you should be clear like what has happened, and it will have a serious impact, not immediately, it will have an impact over a period of time. And fundamental stocks will rebound during these times. Even these fundamental stocks will have an impact, but the thing is, they will rebound quickly when compared to the other stocks. One best example I can give is Maruti, which has gone down like anything, but thing is, they are fundamentally, the stock is good, they have the biggest market share, and they are rebounded like to a level in the short term. This is one good thing with having sticking to the fundamental stock. And again, if you are a trader, it's like you will see stock market as a short-term money making avenue. But if you're a investor, you can look at long-term wealth creation. Wealth creation, it's not like lakhs. I'm saying you can create in crores. If you're invested 1 lakh in acre motors in 2009, it would have been worth 57 lakhs now. But the thing is, by 2016-17 itself, it has touched more than 70 lakhs. So this is how the stock market rewards you if you are sticking with it for a long time. And possibility of making money is lesser because it's probability and it's like speculating. You lose money, it's like taking a risk. Losing 1 rupee for every 2 rupees you are making, losing 3 rupees for every 4 or 5 rupees you are making. But when it comes to investor, you know that this stock is going to perform. You know that you are done your analysis. You are done with your analysis that this stock is going to be there for the next 10-15 years, and you are going to be there. You are going to be part of their business, so that you are also going to create wealth for yourself, right? So this is how the investor thinks. Now the point is, whom do you want to be? How do you want to how do you want to play in stock market? Do you want to be an investor or do you want to be a trader? So that you are looking at making money, or you are looking at creating wealth for yourself? Creating wealth is like, because even if it is, you're saying that I am into stock market for passive income. See, even if you're looking at passive income as a uh, you are looking at stock market for generating passive income, you need to invest a lots of time, right? So instead of doing that, invest your time in finding the right stock, and it will reward you with paying dividends year on year. It will reward you by growing your money. And from second third year onwards, you don't need to invest lots and lots of time, because by now you know what is how to pick the right stock. And by now you know how much dividend you're making. By now you know what are the things you need to look at if you're finding the right stock, right? So the money comes automatically. So either you can withdraw the money every quarter or every month, or you can just keep adding, because you had invested a small portion. Just the example, look at the example what I said. 1 lakh invested in acre motors is 57 lakhs in 10 years. Where you will get that much amount? You're not going to invest your time, you're not going to invest anything. What you're investing is your money, which works on its own, which buys its own time. And you are just allocating the time. It's okay, let my money, let it be there. Grow yourself. I'll take it whenever I require. And if you're invested 1 lakh in Havels, which is the largest cable wire brand and largest fans, then it would have been worth around 31 lakhs. Can you imagine any one investment avenue without much risk? And you know that these are the stocks which has done well, and it's creating wealth like anything, like these two brands. These are just examples. If you are someone who wants to really create wealth, who wants to really look at not want to worrying about money, then you need to be an investor. So hereafter, if someone asks you, how do you want to play in stock market, how do you want to be in stock market? I want to be an investor. Becoming a Warren Buffett takes a lots and lots of time, and you don't need to think about him while starting. Just take his principles, because uh, Warren Buffett took principles of Benjamin Graham. He stuck with the principles for the last 90 100 years, more than last 70 80 years. Because even now, the people who are bought they started criticizing Warren Buffett just because all the other stocks, all the companies in Dow Jones US, I'm saying. So it has given much bigger returns in the last 1 to 2 years. But Berkshire Hathaway, it's the company owned by Warren Buffett, it has been a big laggard. This is a problem when it comes to value investing, because when the bull market happens, it will go like anything. And if you are a value investor, you will stick with stocks which is, you know that these are the stocks I should stick with. And people who doesn't understand, they will just ignore you. This is with respect to US, but when it comes to India, you need to stick with the growth stocks, or you need to stick with the value stocks, and growth will happen automatically. Thanks for watching. If you think that this Facebook Live has created uh, much clarity in your stock market investment, please share this with your friends so that they also know what is to be a trader or what is an investor, and what are the major differences between a stock trader and stock investor. And that creates a whole lot of difference. That creates a really a lot of difference. Like either you want to create wealth or you just want to look at money making avenue. And trader, you need to spend your time, and if you are taking it up as a career, then I'll say go, or else just be an investor, spend your time, learn a lot for the initial few days or months or years, and then it will reward you like anything. I can say that, I can assure you that. So thanks for watching. Please share this video with your friends so they also know, get a clarity on either they want to be a trader or investor. Please share this video because I've given clarity like where you lose money, where you're making money, where you're creating wealth. It's not making money. So that is a huge difference, I can say. If you find any takeaway from this Facebook live, please share this, share in a comment section. And I am giving an opportunity, like I'm creating a Facebook group where in this month I'm launching a new online course. Like I'll be sharing nitty gritties about stock market and what you can do in stock market so that you get a clarity. These are some certain things I'm doing on a weekly basis, but there in the Facebook close group I'm going to share everything and put together so that you get a clarity, you get into the stock market investment by yourself, and you are going to create wealth by yourself. This is completely uh, it's up to you. You can enroll, you can get into the closed group, learn something and invest by yourself, and create wealth for yourself. Thanks for watching.